What you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans for the summer, I know that. I'm sipping water in my backpack. I got everything I need in my backpack. My socks are clean, but not for long. I won't shower for almost a whole month. Soon we'll be hiking and paddling on the east side of this mountaintop. We'll be standing what's happening. We'll play some trail D&D, and every raisin I eat is coming straight from the gourd. So if you're trying to come to Vermont, I'ma leave Questers open. Questers will be open. Questers will be open. Yeah, leave Questers open. I'm hoping that you feel the way I do when you're gonna come to Questers this summer. Tell me that you're coming through. Oh, oh, oh. The sky's blue, the sun's bright, mosquitoes bite, but I don't mind. Our trail cooking is so divine. I hope you're hungry, bring your appetite. Oh, I'm full of anticipation. We'll have so much fun cooperating. I'm talking hiking, paddling, then we'll be swimming the river's end, jumping. We'll play some trail D&D, and every raisin I eat is coming straight from the gourd. So if you're trying to come to Vermont, I'ma leave Questers open. Questers will be open. I'ma leave Questers open, yeah. Questers will be open. I'm hoping that you feel the way I do when you're gonna come to Questers this summer. Tell me that you're coming through. Oh, I'm just so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you know me from previous summers, you know that I just have to express myself from song. And if we don't know each other yet, I'm super excited to get to know you here and in person as you get ready to embark on your Questers trip, and then to see you when you get back from your Questers trip and to hear all about it. So next up, we have a little PowerPoint presentation just to give you a little bit of a heads up about what you can expect on trail. I'm going to go to my sitting spot. Okay, so welcome to Questers. I'm very excited that you all are signed up and you'll be joining us this summer. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what Questers is all about, why choose to do Questers, why choose to go be on trail for almost 3 weeks at a time. I'll tell you why. So the first reason that I see as being really important is community. So on your group, on trail, you get to form really close bonds with the people in your group. There'll be about 8 Questers and 2 leaders in each trip group, so you'll get to know each other pretty well. And after the first couple days, what we hope and what often happens is you fall into a really good rhythm of working together. Once you get to know who's in the group, you learn a lot about how you act in a group in this new type of situation. Yeah, so the community that is part of the Questers trip is one of the most important things. The next really important aspect of Questers is leadership. So you're not only going to be participating in this Questers trip, you're also going to be getting to practice some of your leadership skills in this Quester trip. One of the big ways we do that is leader of the day, and I'm going to go into that in more detail in just a little bit. But you can definitely expect to be an active part of the group and sharing leadership with other members of the group. The third really cool thing about Questers is that it's a challenge. As I'm sure you know from reading the description about Questers, maybe talking to me on the phone, maybe you've been on backpacking trips before, it can definitely be a challenge to go on a backpacking trip. And I just want to say, I think it's really awesome that you all have decided to do this really cool, challenging thing with your summer rather than, say, sitting at home, watching the TV, hanging with friends. I'm sure you'll get to do some of that as well with the rest of your summer, but I just want to applaud you for taking on this challenge. And for those of you who I've talked to already, we may have talked about this, but Questers can be challenging in a couple of different ways, whether it's the physical hiking, carrying your pack, learning new skills, remembering how to tie that knot to set up the tarp or how to turn on the camp stove. Maybe it's getting to know a new group of people you've never been around before. There definitely will be opportunities for you to challenge yourself and grow. And that's one of the really cool things about Questers. And then, of course, last but not least is fun. As you can see in this photo, the Questers have a lot of fun on their trip. We've got, you might recognize some of the people in this photo, perhaps. We have Louisa in the pink is actually coming back to be a counselor at SAM this summer. Michelle's son, Gabriel, up in the back has been a counselor at TL for a while. And then Emmett, standing in the back, has also been a counselor at TL, I think for several years now. So another cool thing about the Questers program, you get to practice all these trip leading skills, you get to practice this leadership, and this can set you up to be a camp counselor or to work with youth in the future or to be an outdoor guide. Really, the skills that you learn in Questers can be applicable to a lot of different parts of your life. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go through sort of a typical day in the life of a quester. I will say that your days are not super typical. You'll be seeing different terrain every day. Since you almost never spend more than one night in the same place, you'll get to see new things and have new experiences every day. Excuse me, but I just want to go over sort of the main schedule so you can know what to expect. Okay, so before you even get on your trip, you'll be doing pack out. You'll be doing this on Farm and Wilderness's property on our campus. And so you will get to help with packing out food, packing out gear. This includes your own personal gear and then also group gear. So things like your stove, your skillet, your spatula, tents, tarps, all the stuff you use as a group. You'll get to do some team building with your group before you get out on trail. As you can see here in this photo, this group is preparing for their trip by doing some team building. They're doing some passing over each other without falling off the log type team building. And you'll also get to practice some of your backpacking skills on our campus the day before you leave. So your leaders will make sure that everyone knows how to throw a bear bag, how to set up your tarps, how to orient yourself on the map. You'll start practicing some of those skills before you leave, but you'll really get into them and practice them more until they feel easy while you're out on the trip. Okay, so this is sort of a basic overview of what a day on trail might look like. Now, I put in some times just because it's often something people are curious about, but if you've got a longer day, you might have to get up earlier. If you take a wrong turn by accident, which sometimes happens, you might get into camp a little later. So this is definitely subject to change. But as a basic overview, you get up around 7, again, depending on the day. Once you get up, you pack up your sleeping bag and your sleeping bag right away. You do some morning chores and breakfast prep. And so the morning chores are basically breaking down camp. So packing up your tarps, packing up the gear that you're not going to use for breakfast so that after breakfast, you're ready to go. Usually when I led questers, we ate breakfast around 8:15. And then after breakfast, we would wash our dishes, put stuff back on our in our bags, and then we'd hit the trail. So from around 9 to noon, we were out hiking on the trail. You take breaks for snacks, you take breaks for water. You might also stop in the morning sometime if there's a nice viewpoint for silent meeting. Then around noon, typically, you might break for lunch. After a lunch break, you hit the trail again. You can expect to be out for 3-ish more hours, depending on your day. And then it's nice to get into camp between 4:30 and 5:30. So you've got lots of time while the sun is still up to set up camp, make dinner, eat dinner. And then after dinner, if there's time, your counselors might have some sort of activity planned for you, or you might just have time to get to know each other, play some cards, talk around the fire, that type of thing. Okay, so setting up and breaking down camp is something you do every day on trail since you're moving from place to place. These are the sort of the main points of setting up and breaking down camp. And these are things that you will learn how to do and eventually lead by the end of the trip. So your counselors will make sure that you know how to do all these things, how to select your campsite, how to pick a good spot for sleeping that is flat, hopefully, how to set up your tarps. We have these really cool like mountaineering expedition tarps, these like big tarps that you string between trees and you set up with P-cord and then you sleep underneath those. They're really cool. Bear bagging is hanging your food up in a tree so that squirrels and raccoons don't get it and eat it. That is very important on trail. Water, finding water, filling everyone's water, purifying your water, all very important. And then of course you have meal prep and meal cleanup. Okay, so food on questers. You can see in this photo, this is an example of what your food might look like when it's packed out. You're gonna get food for about 6 days at a time, and we're gonna resupply you with your next 6 days of food. About every six-ish days it works out to in the schedule, but so you'll have all your food packed into these bags, and then you'll divvy it up so that everyone is carrying some of the food weight and carry the food with you throughout the day. I put some of my favorite trail meals on here. I really love bean burritos with hot sauce. Trail mac and cheese is quite good. Lentil curry with fresh veggies on the first couple nights of a trip can be really good. Granola. On my trip, we had granola every day for breakfast because granola is just easiest, honestly, and delicious. If you have dietary needs, that is totally fine. I'm going to send out a survey of food needs, dietary needs, food preferences, stuff like that before you even arrive, so that we can start packing up some of the food before you get here, because it is a lot of food to pack out for almost a 3-week trip, and you wouldn't have time to do all of it in just your 1 day of pack out. So we're going to get it started before you even arrive. Okay, leader of the day. This is one of my favorite aspects of the Questers program. So starting maybe a week into your trip, it depends on honestly how your group forms and how your counselors choose to run their trip. But everyone will get to the chance to be the leader of the day at least once. And so what this can look like is you will have the map, you'll have a compass. You will know, your leaders will tell you at the beginning of the day what the day's route is. So you'll know how many miles you're going to hike and on which trails. And it'll be your job to have the map, make sure you stay on course, and make sure that you're timing yourself correctly with the pace you're hiking and the breaks that you're taking so that you get to your campsite at a reasonable time. That's some of the timing piece. The leader of the day also can be in charge of making sure that chores get done in a timely fashion, helping people with their chores, encouraging people to get their chores done, making sure everyone has what they need in order to successfully contribute to the group. Group cohesion is a big one. And this really goes hand in hand with motivation, keeping people's morale up. Anyone in the group can do this. It doesn't always have to be the leader of the day, but it can be fun as the leader of the day to initiate a song on trail, or a game of trail D&D, or a game of contact, or anything else you like to play. Keep everyone motivated towards the goal of getting to your campsite. Silent meeting. This is another one of my favorite parts of the Questers trip. So we do silent meeting at all farm and wilderness camps. As you may know, it's a time when we come together as a community and sit in silence. Your counselors may give you something to reflect on while you're sitting, or they may just say, time for silent meeting. We're going to sit as a community in silence. If you feel moved to speak into the silence, you are welcome to do that. And then after silent meeting, there's an opportunity for community speaks, where you can talk about what you were thinking about or make any sort of announcements for the group. And I really love this aspect, especially on Questers. You can find a beautiful spot on trail. You could even do silent meeting in your canoes. You could get all close to each other and raft up and sit silently on the water together. I find it's a really nice way to feel connected to the rest of the group and to the land around us. Okay, so your Questers trip will consist of hiking and canoeing. You will be hiking for about 2/3 of the trip, and you will primarily be on the Vermont Long Trail, which, fun fact, is the oldest long distance trail in the United States. It's a beautiful trail, really well maintained, easy to follow. It's got great campsites. I love the Long Trail. It's beautiful, goes over lots of neat terrain. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And so we also have canoeing. And so depending on which trip group you're in, you'll either be canoeing in the Stratton Pond area or the Green River Reservoir area. And for your canoeing, the way canoeing is going to work this summer is that you'll be doing some base camping and some exploration in your canoes. So this will be like the one time on trail when you don't have to pack everything up every single day, which is a nice break. And you'll get to really get out in your canoes and explore all the angles of these different spots, which are super beautiful. You can practice your canoe skills. You can play games in the canoes. Yeah, I think you're going to like this as well. And so canoeing will be about 1/3 of the trip. My blank slide. Oh, that must have been an accident. Anyway, that's the end of my slideshow. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. So what we want to do now is I am going to hop in a breakout room with the Questers themselves, and then Tulio and Michelle are going to stick here with parents to answer some parent questions.
Oh, you may want to hit record too if you're in the Questers are in Miles, but don't worry about it. If you see if the record button is cooperating with you, go for it.
Sure.
I think some Questers joined and didn't hear that you need to put Q in front of your name, or please put Q in front of your name so that the breakout thing can happen.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Michelle. If you're a Quester, can you just please rename yourself and put a Q in front of your name so we know to send you to the fun Quester room and you don't have to stay in the parent question answer room.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me see here.
Ryan, we're just going into breakout rooms right now.
Okay. Should I just sit tight here then?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can you go upstairs?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go upstairs. Wait a minute.
That is, unless you are a teenager with a deep, mature voice, and I've mistaken you for a parent, and you're actually a quester. In which
Taking that.
I want to start just by.
Hold on just a moment, Tulio.
Hey, Parker, don't you want to go with the questers?
Yeah, I can't actually find the rename
Oh, got
button.
it.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. Viv,
how-
can you,
we'll take care of you anyway. Q or no Q.
All right. I don't know if anybody can see me. This is Brian King. I'm Jonah's dad.
Oh, hey, Brian.
If anybody can hear me,
We can hear you.
I'm trying. Yeah, I just logged on from my phone here. For some reason, it doesn't look quite right. I'm not. Maybe my camera's working. Oh well. Oh well, so be it.
okay.
Yeah, for some reason I can't seem to get. Hold on, just a moment here. Maybe I have something here. Start video.
Michelle, I need you to take over. I'm just gonna go help my dad with
Go.
something.
Okay, cool.
Hey there.
Hi. So we just wanted to have an opportunity if people wanted to ask any questions about the Quester trip, about this summer. There's no agenda set for this part of the hour.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm just the primary thought that comes into my mind is I just want to make sure he has all the equipment he's going to need to be up
Yeah.
there.
I know that Miles has said that people have been
I,
asking about this. We will be
Yeah.
sending out a equipment list, a clothes list. Most likely it'll go out this week. And the reason for the delay was we just wanted to figure out how we were going to do resupplies and laundry. So basically, in terms of the equipment, we'll let you know that. In terms of how they're going to pack, they will get one laundry done during the session. So it'll after the first week, it'll get picked up. They need 2 complete sets of hiking clothes. So after the first week, they'll be brought their second week's supply. We'll send their dirty clothes, they'll get washed. And then after the third week, they'll have those as clean clothes. So, and we were trying to figure that out with the laundry service, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why we didn't include the Quester list when we sent out the list to everyone else. But Miles has completed it, and he will be sending it as it won't be quite as fancy, but it'll be in your inbox very soon.
well, that's interesting. So I thought they were going to be having to pack their entire 3 weeks worth of clothing and everything else on their back all at once. So, but they're actually going to be shuttling laundry back and forth. That's cool.
Just once we'll be shuttling laundry back and forth, but we will, if they have 2 sets of clothes, that's what we were toying with. But no, they won't need to carry all 3 weeks worth with them.
Okay. First aid kit.
Yeah,
All that saying.
all our
gonna
trips go out with that. You don't need individual first aid kits. All the staff are, they receive wilderness first aid training and CPR training, and we have to have a licensed nurse who packs up the first aid kit for all of Farm and Wilderness trips. So you know, for sure, like you might want to, you know, I guess if there's any medication that we have to have in the first aid kit,
Yeah.
if
Uh,
there's really no need, because we will have complete first aid kits.
Okay. And a mosquito, should he bring his own mosquito spray, or is that outlawed?
No, mosquito spray is a good idea. And one thing, you know, that Miles said that we're going to be this year having tarps. And we have bought these little mosquito netting kind of structures that fit under the tarp. So they will be sleeping in mosquito netting, but like for sitting out, it's a good idea to have. Yes, please pack
Okay.
bug dope, we call it.
Bug juice, okay. And oh, let me see. I can't really. The pickup point and the drop off point, that's all logistics stuff. That's going to come a little bit later, I'm sure.
You'll be dropping kids off at Saltash Mountain Camp. They won't stay there, but that's where the nurse is. And we will right away, there's 2 quester groups each session. There's 2 quester groups. So we will, you know, they have to be COVID screened. It's an opportunity to give any medication to the nurse, to check in with Richard or Miles. But the questers are really only going to be in camp 24 hours, but they're not going to be at Saltash. We're going to have them at 2 different spots. But it'll be up by Nineveh. So you'll be sent directions. If you haven't been up at Nineveh, it's a little bit trickier. It's a little tricky to get to. It's incredibly beautiful, but a little tricky. But anyway, so that's where the drop off will be, and the pickup will be there as well. And then they'll go from there. They'll be in camp for, they'll be at Nineveh for, it's called Nineveh because it's by the lake Nineveh. They'll be in that location for 1 full day after drop off, so that they can get all packed up and ready. And then the rest of the time until the afternoon, evening of the last day, they'll be out on the trail.
Okay. So when he shows up, though, his pack should be all packed up and ready to go, or?
No, he just needs.
I'm just not exactly sure what questions I should be asking now. Of course,
no, those are great questions. These are great questions. Does not need to be packed up. And if kids don't have everything they need, we have tons of equipment that we can help them with. That's what they'll be doing the first day, is packing. The day before they go is packing up. Does not need to do that. Likely what they'll be doing is making 2 piles of clothing, you know, 1 to go on the first round, 1 to go on the second round.
I see.
And the one thing I want to say is that if you want your teen to come home with clean clothes, you might have a special separate outfit for them to wear home, because other than that, they won't be that clean. Anyway, yeah, so.
Okay, got that.
Cool.
So make sure toiletries as well. Oops.
Yeah.
So,
Emily?
yeah, hi. Sorry, I got pulled away for a second. First, hi, Karen. Nice to see you. That's cool. So I'm sorry if I missed this. Did you talk about, I know there are 2 groups. Did you talk about like who's in which group? Do we know that yet?
No, we don't. We haven't started doing groups yet. And you know, I know some kids have made requests, and we're very aware in this year where kids have been really 2 years, if they're former F&W people, separated from friends. And we just want to balance that out with also, one of the big things at camp is that you get to meet new people, you get to, we want to incorporate, we want to make a community with who we have. So, but we haven't yet made those groups at all. I can let you know that we made the decision, a few months ago. It wasn't clear what the travel restrictions were going to be and where we were going to be able to get a permit. So Miles indicated that the Quester trips will be in Vermont. And for the two different Quester trips, one group, they're basically starting in the same place, like in Shrewsbury, which is pretty close to camp. And one group will be hiking south. They will hike to their place where they'll canoe. The canoes will be waiting for them, canoe for a few days, and then keep going and end up in Massachusetts. The other group will hike north, and at a certain point, they'll be picked up and driven to their canoeing spot, and then very short way from there, be put back on the trail and hike up to Canada. So even though it's, we have a long trail Quester trip that we're not running this year, in fact, we will be doing pretty much the whole long trail. I'm really excited about it. It is not anything that we have done in this way before. And, so I'm very jazzed about it. I think it's going to be beautiful. And I think, both groups can say, I hiked to a different location, I hiked to Massachusetts, I hiked to Canada. So.
That sounds amazing. I'm envious. So I'm sure he'll have a good time. He loves this sort of stuff. So,
Michelle?
Yeah.
Is there any chance if Pfizer...
Sorry, I missed your hand. Sorry.
That's okay. Is there any chance if Pfizer lowers the age limit that farm wilderness might require vaccination? So the whole trip could be... I mean, my kid's vaccinated, but I'm just wondering if...
Yeah. It's, we have 15-year-olds, Maria.
Right,
so
but if Pfizer opens up in the next few weeks.
Yeah. It's hard for me to answer that. Like, so much has changed so quickly that we're looking at all our protocols. The one thing that I can let you know is that because you keep changing, people keep changing where they are on the screen. Because Questers is a household, after the, every kid will need to arrive having, every person will need to arrive having tested within 72 hours and have a negative test. And then after a period of time, which might be 7 days, might be 5 days, we will test again. And if those tests all come back negative, hopefully, because they're really going to be in a household group, there a lot of the COVID protocol that we have to put in place at camp will not be such, it won't need to be so stiff, won't need to be so, it'll be relaxed is what I'm trying to say for Questers. And, the one thing is if they encounter other people on the trail, they'll need to mask, but likely they won't need to mask after the, everyone is tested after 5 days. But we haven't even begun to think, oh, what if 15-year-olds are receive vaccine.
All right, so they definitely need to be tested a few days before coming up.
Your child does.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that is for sure. That's everyone. And even if they have vaccination, everyone needs to be tested.
Okay.
And, you know, part of it is just that, I mean, they don't know for sure. You can't be a carrier. So, and we want to make sure that we're not also, so we're not having anyone come into the community with it.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, I see your hand and I recognize your face.
Yeah, this is Eric Thompson, this is Willanola's father. And,
Yeah,
hi. How are you?
hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm wondering, what's the age of the oldest person that's going to be in the expedition? Are they going to be, are they former questers, or are there like older people that are going to be on leading and kind of watching over them?
Yeah, the staff people you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Richard is the coordinator. He'll be in and out. And, you know, he's, I don't know his age, but he's an older guy, not as old as me. And we haven't, we're still hiring. We have 3 of the 4, and they're in their mid-20s. So they are older people. And there is, there'll be contact with, you know, base camp, a regular contact with base camp about any of the things that might come up.
Okay, great. Because you had mentioned meeting other people on the trail. How busy are these trails?
Well, you know, it's how busy is the long trail? It's hard for me to say, honestly, because I think a lot of the national parks have seen an uptick in usage during this time of you know, COVID. It's not like, you know, I don't know. Would you see 2 or 3 other groups in a day? Yes, likely. Will we stay separate from those groups? Yes. You know, that we need to do that. Which that might be different in a summer where there, you know, wasn't COVID, that sometimes we do as a group talk with other people on the trail, but this year we will likely avoid that. We will avoid that so that we can keep any of the COVID out of the trip.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
They'll be well watched after. It's not a free-for-all out there. Any other questions?
So I understand I'm sorry, I don't know where to raise my hand here. I don't see the little button.
It's okay. That's
I don't mean to barge just in, but with regard to meals, they're going to get basic meals, correct? But they're responsible for bringing their own snacks and things up?
no, we provide all the food,
Okay.
all the food, and they'll be able to have a say in what gets, you know, cooked and what gets, you know, what snacks they bring. What Miles meant when he said he's going to check in or he wants to hear about food requests is just so that we can order it ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah, all the food is provided.
Yeah, so you don't recommend that he brings up any of his own food?
No.
You know, okay.
Yeah. No.
All right. Okay.
Do you check in with the questers periodically as they go along, or?
Yeah, that is, well, we will have some kind of device where we'll have contact and ask the leaders to be in touch with us, be in touch with Richard. And if anything rises to a level of concern, Richard will be in touch with Miles or myself about it. You know, often things that happen are like honestly, it's more often chipmunks or squirrels got the food, or that sometimes group dynamics becomes an issue. You know, on occasion, a kid hurts themselves, and, you know, we need to make a plan about that. Sometimes we hear from leaders, you know, they weren't able to get to their spot. We have to get permits for each of the spots we're staying in. They weren't able to get to their spot, so they might call in to sort of figure out how we can reroute the trip. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things that we in the past groups have called in with. They will at least once a week be resupplied, and Richard will be doing that. And so that will be eyes on the group at that point, besides just calling in. Yeah.
Do they, what's the wildlife situation with regards to bears? I
Yeah.
know we have a lot of bears here.
This year, we have to, I forget, bear canisters. Like, we used to just hang food for bears, but now anywhere on the long trail, you have to carry bear canisters. So we've purchased a bunch of those. So, yeah, I mean, but there's bears around our camps too, you know, like it's a good thing in a way. It's a real wilderness. But they're brown bears, so they're not, unless you
Yeah,
get in between them and they're young, you're pretty safe. And I thought I saw Emily's hand up, but now it looks like she disappeared.
She just wanted to get added to the camper breakout room.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it.
Is it okay if I throw some bear bells on his bag before he goes?
Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. You know, one time this is total aside, I was in Glacier National Park, and I was hiking, and I was with this woman, and we were given bear spray, and we in fact encountered a bear, and she used the bear spray, and the wind blew it, and who it hit was me. The bear was like, didn't impact him at all, but Bells is fine.
Probably gave the bear a good laugh.
Right, exactly. All of these silly humans.
Michelle, can you walk us through what happens between sessions? There are at least 2 campers, mine and Ro, who are going to be at Sam's second half. And so just curious about, is it like a day or 2 days between the sessions, and what we should plan for that?
Yeah, so if you want to see your kid, you need to have them for the whole time. That's, you know, that is because we're not really having a visiting day, so we can't have people come at different times. But if not, I can't totally answer that yet, Karen. I feel badly, but we don't yet have a sense of how many kids there, how many campers there will be, and how many campers there will be that will be going to a different camp, because there are quite a few folks who are questers one half, and then going to one of the Plymouth camps, the second half. So there'll be a very skeletal crew of people, and we will figure out something fun.
I'm in California, so I'm just trying to figure out whether to send like a grandparent emissary or whether to leave him at camp during that time.
Well, the grandparent emissary would have to be for the full time, right? For the full, and I think if he, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's not like we're not gonna care for them. It's not like we're gonna not have fun, but it can be hard to watch your friends leave and then to be there and kind of be waiting for the next group. Yeah, I would say it might be something to talk over with Miles and, see what he thinks about that. It's not going to be a huge group up at, neither the Saltash group. And there will be more than just he and Ro. Is that who you're talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, it will be more than the two of them. There is one person who's doing Questers both halves. So I know that she'll still be there, but I can't say that it'll be a big group, and we can't go off property with them. And so, so I don't know how to answer that for your family. Yeah. He will get to shower.
That case.
We just haven't gotten to that yet, honestly.
Yeah, no, I know it's a detail. We don't need to know yet. I'm just in terms of planning. And then, sorry, this is so specific, but for those kids that are doing a different camp the second half, should they bring 3 sets of clothes?
Well, I think that for all the kids who are staying second half, it's a whole new laundry service that we're using. And I think we're planning on doing a laundry for not just Questers, not just Saltash kids, all the kids who will be staying. We're going to be doing their laundry so that they'll have clean clothes going into second session. It's this new laundry service where I think they each have their individual bags, and they take pictures of it. When they take it out of the bags, they pride themselves on not losing laundry. So, I don't know. But so you don't need to send 3 sets of things. I think you'll be okay with the 2.
He's going to wear the same clothes all day, every day for the entire summer anyway, but just, in case things change.
Right.
I just want to interrupt and say we'll bring the Questers back in 1 minute.
Oh, okay, cool.
I had a question with regard to Willanola. He's got a tree nut allergy, and he's been in the camp before, and the needle was kept at the nurse's station. How do you handle it? Will he be carrying that himself, or will the leader be entrusted with that, or?
Yeah. I'd like you to work that out with the nurse, and we'll have the nurse call you about that. I mean, it has to do with how serious the, his reaction might be. But, if that's something he carries, I can't weigh in there. I think I want you to work it out with the nurse. And the other thing that you should probably let Miles know is how serious is the tree nut allergy. Is it such that we really can't send anyone, any nuts on the trip? If it's that case, we really need to know that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah. It's the food, we will be all over that food, the food issues.
Okay, thank you.
Excited for all of you. Okay, I'll bring the Questers back now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. It's like magic.
Hey. Folks, I apologize. Let's take this moment to say, I hope I see you on May 20th, because we are hosting a online welcoming event to let you know what what opening day looks like, which is when you arrive at camp. We want you to have a nice mental picture of that and what drop off. And so we're going to be handling that. It's a little bit different for Questers than for the other camps, but we're going to keep it brief. And then we'll have a breakout session for each camp. It's not very exciting, really. It was much a little public service announcement. So somebody say something more thrilling than that.
Well, I was gonna welcome back the questers. Good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. How'd things go in here?
Not as thrilling as you, Miles.
Great. Yeah, well, I just want to thank everyone for making time to come to this event. It was really nice to see your faces and hear your voices. I'm really looking forward to meeting you or seeing you again in person. I think you've got a really great group. Yeah, I think you're gonna have a great time. I'm jealous. I wish I could go on the trip too. Yeah.
And I just want to say to the parents that if, any questions, concerns, food stuff came up, please be in touch with Miles about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to email me anytime. I'm also happy to talk on the phone, to talk again, or if we haven't gotten a chance yet to connect on the phone, I would gladly do that as well. Yeah, so I think if that is everything, we will depart for this afternoon. So as we've learned from Zoom school, getting off of your Zoom meeting can be very awkward. So on the count of 3, I want everyone to unmute and say goodbye and wave wildly. 1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Goodbye. 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 Bye. 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 Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you.